People judge you before they even actually get to know you. You may not even really realize it, but everyone naturally will judge people and judge others, especially new people. Um, as it's kind of like a natural instinct. Like there's nothing you can really do about it, but judgment just kind of happens. And it doesn't make you a bad person for doing it, but what you can control though is how much are you willing to judge somebody based on knowing nothing about them. Looks is like the gateway, right? It's the gateway to conversations, friendships, relationships, whatever it is. That looks is the gateway. But sometimes we get so like fixated on looks that we ruin future like actual good like relationships or friendships. Now, obviously in relationships you gotta be attracted to who you're gonna be with. That's just a fact. But sometimes we even push people away for their looks, just be even for friendships. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't judge whatsoever. I mean, obviously, it's not really a good thing to do, but it's also a natural thing to do. It's just what people do. It keeps, because sometimes judgment can save you. I mean, in reality, if you judge somebody, you're like, yeah, they seem kind of shady, and you're not oblivious to that, and say they turn around, they rob somebody, maybe you did a right move by judging them. I mean, that'd be an example of how judgment can actually help you. But sometimes, though, we judge the wrong people. And sometimes those are some of the best people you can ever meet, but you never give yourself the chance to meet them. And another thing you can take out of this is that since everybody judges you within milliseconds without even know you, just be yourself from the very beginning when you meet new people. You don't want to waste your time on somebody who doesn't even like who you really are. And part of that's your fault, because what do people do when they meet new people? They put on a mask of who they really aren't, right? They fake who they are, and then like a couple months goes down the line, and then they lift that mask off, they show who they really are. And then what happens? The people that thought that they were this person find out they're actually, oh, they're this person, and I don't like this person, so I don't want anything to do with them anymore. So that's what I'm saying. Save your time. Be who you really are from the beginning. That way you don't waste your own time. If they don't like you because you're being you, then you don't need them in your life. It's that simple. You don't need to get desperate for people, right? So just be yourself from the very beginning and save your time, because you only benefit off of being yourself in every circumstance, at least I think, when it comes to friendships and all that, right? Because when you be yourself, you know if the person really likes you for you, you will know if they're worth keeping in your life, and you will save your time. Because when you put on a mask of who you aren't for so long, and they end up not liking you for who you really are, think about all the time you just wasted from faking your persona. That's why I'm telling you, save your own time and just be who you are from the very beginning. Don't change who you are for someone else. And then go from there. I don't think you really lose anything from being yourself. And then I also think that if you're that scared to be yourself around people, then maybe it's time to ask yourself some questions, right? If you are a complete weirdo, then maybe it's time to change who you are. I'm just saying. I mean, everybody's different, and everybody's going to take weirdo in a different way. But I think we have an idea of what kind of weird I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about creepy weird. Like, if that's you, and like you're generally just weird around people and you make them feel uncomfortable, not because you're quiet or shy or whatever. I'm talking about like actual like creepy, like you're just being like a total weirdo. Maybe it is time to question yourself and ask if it's time to change. And no matter how weird you are, you still change for the better. I mean, it's not a bad thing to change some personality traits of yourself, right? I mean, even I've done it. It's not because you're not changing yourself for the worst, because some people like to hide behind that too. Like, oh, I'll never change who I am as a person. Do you really know who you really are? That's the thing. So you take it from that what you will. I mean, I'm weird. Like I I'm weird. I am not some normal guy. I'm just not. I will act weird with the right people, and there's that. And that's another thing I want to add. When you're meeting new people, I'm not saying like, you're going to talk about things with your family that you wouldn't talk with a complete stranger. So obviously you're going to have a little bit of a cover, right? You're not going to be fully open with them, but that doesn't mean you can't be yourself. It's all about how you word things, right? If you like anime and you're on a date and you don't want to sound like a complete nerd or geek or like turn them off, you don't have to leave it out. It's just all about how you word things. That's realistically all it is. If I sit here and I talked about, like even this, like if I talk about, oh yeah, I make YouTube videos, and then that's all I talked about the entire time, I look like a loser. But if you just say, oh yeah, I do this for fun. I make YouTube videos for fun. I play this for fun. That's a lot different than me just going on and on and on and on, right? If you like anime and you sit there and you say, yeah, what if they ask you what's your favorite movie or TV show or whatever, what do you like to watch? And you're just like, I'm into anime. I'm into anime. That's a lot different than me going on for hours about the same topic. So you're still being yourself. You're just not being as open, right? When you first meet somebody, everybody naturally has some type of boundary because you're meeting this person. You don't know if you should trust them. You don't know much about them. You don't know what you can say, what you can't say, what's going to offend them, what's not. So it's okay to have, those types of boundaries. And then when you judge people, when you first see them, that's a natural thing too. You can't really do much about it. It's just a natural instinct that I think we all have. It's just what you can control, though, is to the extent of how much are you going to judge them. Are you kicking people out of your life without even getting to know them just because it's simply they have one little thing wrong with them? I mean, then that's probably when you should ask about your own character. I could tell you a story right now. When I went to this water park near where I live, it's like a hour and a half drive, somewhere around there. I went there by myself, and I usually go with friends, but my friends at the time, they didn't like that kind of thing. So I said, screw it, I'll go by myself. And this was kind of a nerve-wracking experience. I'm going to this water park on my own. I don't know anyone, and it's a pretty packed area because I was going on a weekend. So it was a pretty packed area. There's a bunch of people, and I'm by myself. I don't know anybody. So I'm walking around, and then I meet this group of guys. They're older dudes, probably in their 20s. And at the time, I was like 17. And at first, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of like I was nervous because I'm by myself with a bunch of people I don't know. And we kind of just started talking here and there. And then I kind of walked away, did my own thing, and then I came back and we kind of crossed paths again. And they were like, hey, would you like to hang out with us? And I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll do it. So I did, and then I ended up hanging out with them, and then within like maybe an hour, it wasn't very hard to open up to them. But what I'm telling you here is, after this happened, I had a talk with one of the guys in that group. And I don't even know these dudes' names. Like, I don't know anything about them. And the first thing he said, he's like, you know what, man? Like you seem like an actual, like, good dude. Like, you seem cool to hang out with. And that's why we're hanging out with you. Because you seem like a chill guy. I mean, whatever. And this isn't to, like, toot my own horn. But what I'm saying is, because I didn't hold back who I really was, yes, I had boundaries. I'm not going to talk to them about, my daily things or things I only talk about with, like, super close people like my family. Just because I'm doing that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not being myself. I still am. And when I was myself, I found out that more people liked me when I was being myself than if I faked a persona. Like, if I faked on a persona, like, here's what a lot of guys like to do. They like to act tough, badass, act like they're going to beat everybody's ass to look cool or intimidating. And no one likes those people. But because I was just simply myself and how I really act, people like me more. So the people like authenticity. They like real. So when you're real with them, they can be real with you. You're inviting them to be real. You're inviting them to be real with you so you can be real together. That way you're not holding back anything, right? And that makes people trust you more. When you put on a mask, a lot of people can see through that. And they get awkward, they tend to shy away, and they don't really want to talk to you. And then guess what? That leads to even more judgment. That's not good judgment. So take it for what you will. But learn from my experiences. Don't be so scared to be yourself. Don't think that you're a geek or that you're a nerd for liking what you like. You like what you like. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like anime, who cares? If you like to study science projects and that's your thing, who cares? Right? If people are going to seriously overjudge you for little things like that just because of what you're into, then why do you want them in your life anyways? Because that means that any little thing you do, you're going to be constantly judged for it. Do you really want that in your life? The answer would probably be no. So just be yourself from the beginning. That way you can filter through the kind of people you should keep in and keep out. It makes it so much easier than if you're doing it to yourself. You know, you're faking who you are, and that's your own problem. So give yourself a break. Don't put so much stress on if this person's gonna like you. And I honestly think a big thing when this happens is guys when they meet girls. They act completely different. They try to act tough. They try to be intimidating to get their attention, and most of the time it just doesn't even work. And it just makes you look like a dumbass. So just be yourself. And then oftentimes she might like you more if you just be yourself from the beginning. And then at least you know if she doesn't like you, she doesn't like who you are. And that's her problem. And you can find somebody else. And then what happens if you are yourself and they do like you? Well, now you can see where this goes. See what I'm saying here, though? You're saving so much more time than if you sat there and dwelled on what if they think about this about me? What if they think this? What if they think that? Are you seriously going to stop who you are for some random stranger you don't even know? That's what I'm saying. And like I said, we often think that when we show our true selves to people that they're going to hate us. And most of the time, it's actually the complete opposite. When you show a fake version of yourself and people see through that, they don't like you whatsoever because you come off as not trustworthy. You come off as a fake. You come off as everybody else. So show some authenticity when you meet people. Be real. And that's really it. And understand that people will judge you within milliseconds. So first impressions are pretty important. First impression can make or break a relationship. I mean, that's the fact. If they meet you and you come off weird and you put off a bad first impression, that can ruin everything. And then it's just up to them if they want to give you that chance. If they don't, then you're shit out of luck. But if you just be yourself from the beginning, you don't give them anything to see through because you're being yourself, well, that makes it so much easier for them to like you. And like I said, if they don't like you in the end of it, who cares? You can find somebody else to be around. It's really that simple. So understand that people will judge you before they even know you. But you can't let that get to you because everybody judges everyone. I mean, it's a natural thing. Some are good judgments, some are bad judgments. I mean, yeah, you can't please everybody. So don't beat yourself up so much about it. But that's really all I have to say. Other than that, life isn't too short to make a change.